Okay, this is the demonstration of how to perform experiment 2.8, drag on a sphere. First of all, let's go over how to attach the sphere. In your kit, you should have had a set of rubber bands. So you're going to want to get a rubber band and cross them over so you can basically create a quarter of a rubber band around each edge of the sphere. This way and this way. You might have to twist it over once or twice. The next thing that you're going to want to do is get the fishing line. The fishing line, you want it to be long enough that you can piece it through the top corner, such as right there, and it'll be long enough that it'll be able to hang down completely to touch the bottom, but then you want to have a little bit extra so you can tape it to hold it in place. What you're going to want to do next is take flow data. Take some measurements of the velocity of your flow chamber. Now for this experiment, you're going to want to lay the wind tunnel on its side with the cord up top. Notice that there will be a small tiny hole at the top now, which in between the bottom of the flow chamber and the flow deflector. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a measurement at the bottom and again at the top. And they should be pretty similar to when you had done the lift on an airplane, and was basically when it was the right or left side. But now it's going to be the top and bottom, and you're going to have an average of those two values. Again, you want to perform that experiment, or take that data three times at the bottom, 3 times at the top. Once you've recorded that data and later on perform an average, you're going to want to set up the sphere and the force sensor so you can measure drag data. Now notice you're going to want to put the force sensor on its side. This will allow the sphere not to touch the bottom, so you can get you won't have to worry about friction from the sphere to the wind tunnel. The next thing, you want the fishing line to be about the same length so you can feed it through that top hole. Take both pieces, and then you're going to want to have the sphere hang, and we'll adjust the height so it'll rest just against the tip of the force sensor. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use your clamp to hold it in place. Once you get the height correct, you want it to be right about the center of the edge of the sphere. You're going to want to tape a fishing line so it stays at that height. You might want to use a few pieces of tape to do that. Something like this. Be about that height. You don't want it touching the bottom, and you want it to be so the height is the force sensor and the sphere will rest against this back portion. Tighten the clamp so the clamp will not move and mess up your force readings. Again, you want to do it just so it's pushed up against the sphere. Tighten the clamp down, holding it in place. Might take a few times to get it just right. There we go. You can see from this angle. You want to wait till the sphere comes to rest. You don't want to initiate any extra oscillations. Turn on your calculator, and again you're going to want to hit setup. Select single point number 5. That'll take an average over 10 seconds. Then what you're going to want to do is hit setup again, hit number 7 to 0 it, and then hit the zoom button to 0 it. The next thing we're going to want to do once this comes to a rest, maintaining that it is in 0, you may need to hit the 0 button again. Now turn on the wind tunnel and then hit start. It will oscillate slightly, but it'll average over that time frame. Now what you're going to want to do is repeat the experiment 3 times and take an average. That concludes the process to take experimental data for homework assignment 2.8.